Coming up on the Poke Report, Oklahoma State football is missing some key players for their upcoming game against Houston.
And we look into America's greatest homecoming that kicks off in a little over 48 hours.
And finally, a 2023 and 2024 national championship program is coming into Stillwater for action. All this and more on this edition of the Poke Report.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Poke Report. I'm Zach Berger.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt, and we are back in Stillwater this week after that fun trip in Tucson.
Oh, it was great. I mean, the campus was beautiful. Shout out to the University of Arizona Journalism School. And it was just a great time.
Of course, shout out Joel.
Shout out Joel. Love Joel. He was great.
He was so great, and they were so welcoming there. That trip was awesome, except for the fact that we all got sick somehow.
Yeah, that did happen. But before we recap the game in Tucson, there is some big news for Cowboy football ahead of the game versus University of Houston.
Yeah, Zach, Doug Meacham has announced that Zane Flores will be missing this Saturday's game against Houston. In his place, former wide receiver, now quarterback Sam Jackson, will be starting for the Pokes. Jackson so far this season has thrown for 77 yards and 1 touchdown in 2 games of action. Before coming to OSU, Jackson had played quarterback at the University of California in 2023, where he threw for 556 yards, 5 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. He also threw 6 passes in his 2 years at TCU, where in the 2021 season, Doug Meacham was his offensive coordinator. Meacham says that Banks Bowen, true freshman quarterback, will also see some action in this weekend's game.
Now, Flores won't be the only Cowboy not suiting up this week, as tight end Josh Ford will also not be on the field. However, that's not due to an injury. As of Wednesday on Ford's Instagram, he announced he'll be entering the transfer portal. All Oklahoma State players were given a 30-day window to enter the portal after the firing of former head coach Mike Gundy. Ford joins a long list of Cowboys to enter the portal so far. In his time as a Cowboy, Ford has amounted 13 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now the Stillwater native will play a collegiate game outside of his hometown for the first time in his career. And Peyton, between the transfers, the injuries, even for Houston, their quarterback Connor Wegman, he's questionable for this game. Still will be interesting to see who just takes the field at all.
That's right, but before we can get into this weekend's game, we got to recap last weekend's game in Tucson. Listen to down to Emma Woods, who has that game recap for us.
The Cowboy football struggle continues, this time in the desert. The Pokes travel to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats. This is the second game with interim head coach Doug Meacham after the midseason firing of longtime head coach Mike Gundy. And the first game this season without defensive coordinator Todd Grantham, as he was let go earlier in the week, where Clint Bowen is acting as the interim DC. The Cowboys have been going through many program changes with the staff changes and many players going into the transfer portal, thus leading to much speculation about Oklahoma State's performance in Arizona. After struggling on both sides of the ball, the Pokes would fall to the Wildcats 41-13.
But really encouraged by the team and how they operated and how they played. You know, you look in that locker room, there's some guys with their heads down that are hurting, and that's a good sign.
The Pokes would go into the second half down 24-6, with Logan Ward having 2 good field goals attempt from over 45 yards out, making him get 2 of the 3 for the day. After the offense struggling to get everything done, the defense knew they needed to step up. Cowboy defense had a total of 6 sacks, which was more than they've had in all of the previous games this season combined. Some defensive players got to have some time with the ball, gaining 2 interceptions, one in the second quarter by Cowboy safety Parker Robertson from Noah Fafita, and was able to gain 33 yards. Then the second, resulting in the Cowboys finally finding the end zone in the fourth quarter after LaDainian Fields intercepted a pass from Braden Lott for a 55-yard pick six.
But it was just like, dang. It was like, dang. You know, because, like, I seen it was nobody near me, so it was just like, dang, for real, I'm really running. Nobody behind me. I got to score.
The Pokes head back to Stillwater, still hungry for their first conference win since 2023. For the Poke Report, I'm Emma Woods.
Thanks for that, Emma. The Pokes are still looking for their first conference win of the season.
Now, while Cowboy football is preparing for this week's game versus Houston, next week is their annual homecoming game against Cincinnati. And America's Greatest Homecoming is filled with traditions all around Stillwater. Our own Ben Anderson went around campus to ask students what their favorite homecoming activity is in the week leading up to the big game.
America's Greatest Homecoming takes place in Stillwater starting on October 12th through the 18th. Since the first celebration in 1913, OSU's homecoming has become a staple on campus that students and alumni look forward to every year. Even if the students aren't thrilled with the product on the football field, they can definitely find entertainment elsewhere over the weekend. With so many festivities to visit and interact with, we asked students what their favorite part of homecoming is.
Favorite homecoming tradition is making the fountain orange. Really brings out the America's brightest orange here in Oklahoma State.
I would say my favorite tradition would probably be pomping. Maybe not the process, but I feel like the aftermath of like all of us collectively doing it all together, and then maybe like while you're doing it, you're like, ooh, like, you know, you don't see like the aftermath, but like once you like go through like walk-arounds and everything, you see everything. It's like really special to see all of it come together.
Pomping is a long-standing homecoming tradition in Greek life where students create colorful house decorations using tiny pieces of tissue paper called palms. It started decades ago and has grown into a creative competition that showcases school spirit and teamwork. But for others, Friday's game is the bigger focus.
Hopefully winning a football game because we're going to beat the hell out of Cincinnati.
From pomping to football, students and staff have been celebrating America's greatest homecoming for over 100 years, thanks to the loyal and true traditions of Oklahoma State. On October 18th, the Pokes will take on the Bearcats of Cincinnati here at Boone Pickens Stadium at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Another staple is the OSU Homecoming Parade, filling downtown Stillwater with bright orange floats, spirited bands, and Cowboy fans lining the streets.
I mean, I've grown up in Stillwater, so I've gone to the walk around and the parade like probably 10 times at least, but definitely the parade. I feel like it's a lot of fun.
I'm excited for the parade in the morning and just get the full experience of homecoming at OSU.
Oklahoma State's homecoming traditions bring the campus together like nothing else. They celebrate school spirit, creativity, and community, making homecoming a truly unforgettable experience for everyone involved. For the Poke Report, I'm Benjamin Anderson.
Thanks for that, Ben. Now, Peyton, we've talked about OSU football a lot, but there has been a lot of other action around the Big 12 Conference.
That's right, our Big 12 expert, Connor Fuchsa, is in the studio, and he's going to give us an update on all the Big 12 games.
Welcome into the Big 12 Roundup. I'm Connor Fuchsa, here to keep you up to date with everything Big 12 sports. Now, this past week, there were 14 different Big 12 teams in action with 7 different games going on. It kicked off Friday night with BYU and West Virginia. It was a 38-24 win for BYU. They handled business on the arm of Bear Bachmeyer, who threw for 351 yards and added 43 yards on the ground. But the Saturday slate, there was a lot of good games on the Saturday slate. There was a couple blowouts. The Oklahoma State game was a blowout, but there's a couple one-score games. And the game I really want to highlight, biggest game of the weekend, is that Iowa State versus Cincinnati game. So the undefeated number 14 Iowa State Cyclones suffered their first loss of the season against Cincinnati, 38-30. Now, this game was really on the back of Cincinnati's running backs. They were dominating most of the game. They were up 17-0 at one point. They also led 31-7 at one point. So the final score shows it a little bit closer than it actually was. But the big storyline was the running backs. Evan Pryor, 10 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then you had Tawi Walker, had 89 yards on the ground. And then quarterback Brendan Sorsby also had 64 yards and a touchdown on the ground as well. So a really big running day. As for Iowa State, I mean, Rocco Beck did his job. He had himself a day for the Cyclones. He threw for over 300 yards. But again, really, it was just all Cincinnati from the get-go. And they were able to knock off Iowa State. The interesting part about this game, there was a field storm. Even though Cincinnati was favored in this game, it was their first highest-ranked home win for the Bearcats since 2006. So the students were excited. They rushed the field. And on top of that, Iowa State, after losing this game to Cincinnati, is still ranked at number 21, whereas Cincinnati is still unranked after winning this game. So a lot of interesting storylines with this game, but if I had to guess, moving forward, Cincinnati is going to find their way into the top 25 in the coming weeks. But now another important game I want to touch on from this past weekend was that Kansas State versus Baylor game. Kansas State traveled to Waco to take on the Bears, And early in the third quarter, the Wildcats were up. They were up 31-17 this game, and it looked like they were finally going to get that Big 12 win they've been looking for this season after their slow start. But the star power of Baylor was just too much for them to handle. Sawyer Robertson, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns. Michael Trigg, 8 receptions and 155 yards. And also, he not only did he have 155 yards, but he had over 80 yards in the fourth quarter alone, leading that fourth quarter comeback. And then Bryson Washington doing what he does, 83 yards and a touchdown. Avery Johnson had a good game, but overall, the Wildcats do lose, and they're going to move to 2-4 while having a +4 point differential on the season. They've been in a lot of close games. They just have not been able to close them out. Whereas the Bears now move up to 4-2, and they had some big performances from the usual players. Now, I want to go back to the big board at the end to just look at everything from this past weekend. I mean, again, there was a couple blowouts. There was a close game. Kansas UCF had a lot, could have maybe some implications later in the season. These are two teams that have started off well in Big 12 play. Texas Tech handles business, and now they're ranked in the top 10. But looking forward to next week, there's some big matchups you can watch out for. Arizona versus BYU is going to be a big battle in Tucson. And then Arizona State is facing off against Utah. Arizona State looking to stay perfect in the Big 12. But they're 5.5-point underdogs, which is interesting. I'm not a betting man, but if I were to tell you to place your money on something, I'd say Arizona State plus 5.5 feels like a great line to take. They've only lost one game, and it was by 4 points. And they've won 2 games by 3 points. So they play in close games. I see that one being a battle this upcoming weekend in Utah. But for now, that's all for this week's Big 12 Roundup. Make sure to tune in next week to stay up to date with everything Big 12 football.
Thank you, Connor. Now, Zach, women's soccer is still winless in the Big 12.
And equestrian is preparing for the number 4 team in the country to enter here in town. All that and more is coming up on the Poke Report right after this.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars. Like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back into the Poke Report, and thanks for sticking with us. We've talked a lot about football, but there's more sports that have competed here at Oklahoma State.
Absolutely, like Cowgirl soccer. Now, they started their conference play 0-3-1 this year, and back on Monday, they hosted BYU looking for their first conference win of the season. Our own Preston Hudlow was at the game and tells us what went down.
The losing streak continues for Cowgirl soccer, dropping this one to BYU 4-1 at home. This marks 5 straight games without a win for OSU. With this loss, the Cowgirls fall to 4-7-2 overall and remaining last in Big 12 play with a 0-4-1 record. The Cougars opened the scoring with an outside box strike from Lucy Kessler's first goal of the season in the 26th minute, but OSU responded back in the 31st as Taryn Thibu delivered a free kick with Maddie Asol kicking in the deflected ball, earning her first collegiate goal and the only goal for the Cowgirls. BYU scored again seconds later, with Ellie Walbush's 5th goal of the season taking a 1-goal lead into the intermission. The match was scoreless until the 82nd minute, with Matten Summers-Oviatt scoring and Kessler's getting her 2nd goal on the night in the 88th. Even with a tough loss, head coach Colin Carmichael had some words of praise for those who stepped up.
You know, we're so depleted options-wise, health-wise. So, you know, some of the younger kids stepping in, like Maddie Hazel stepping in and getting a goal, Sandrine Brault. I mean, these are kids that have hardly played. And to throw them in against nationally ranked BYU, I thought they did great.
While the end result didn't go the Cowgirls' way, their spirit shined through. Because for them, October means more than just game day.
I mean, this is super special. I think that this is a really important cause, and I love being able to rep the pink every year in October. We have a lot of girls on the team, and we had a player 2 seasons ago, and her mom just passed away to cancer, so I think it's really special, and I think it's awesome that we were able to represent this cause tonight.
In total, BYU outshot the Pokes 26-10, led in shots on goal 11-3, and had 6 corner kicks to the Cowgirls' 4. The Cowgirls return to action Friday, hosting the Kansas Jayhawks at home at 6 p.m. Reporting from Neil Patterson Stadium, for the Polk Report, I'm Preston Hudlow.
Thanks for that, Preston. Cowgirls still looking for that first win in conference play. No chance to get it tonight as they host Kansas State, who is also winless in the Big 12. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. inside Neil Patterson Stadium.
While Cowgirls soccer is in full swing, there's a bunch of sports that are just getting started. Boston Barnett, our Big 12 expert for both men's and women's basketball, gives us a recap of what the offseason looked like.
Oklahoma State basketball is seeing a lot of changes on both the men's and women's teams. In head coach Steve Lutz's second year with the Cowboys, he only has 3 returning players, those being Kurt Cole, Andrea Vucevic, and Robert Jennings II. For new faces, look out for Green Bay transfer Anthony Roy, who averaged a nation-leading 25.7 points per game last year before a season-ending injury. Coach Lutz says that Roy is a versatile guard who can play multiple positions and that he will thrive in this Cowboys system. On the women's side, Cowgirls have 5 returning players, including the 2 top scorers from last year, Staley Hurd and Micah Gray. For transfers, they are headlined by BYU transfer Amari Whitting, who averaged 10.3 points and 5.5 rebounds last year for the Cougars. The Cowgirls were also able to pick up Lena Girardi, who was number 56 ranked player in the 2025 Sports Center Next 100. She averaged 30 points per game in her senior year of high school and can make this Cowgirls offense more dynamic than it already is. Although both teams have more new faces than old, I expect them both to improve on last year's results.
Thanks for that, Boston. We sure are excited for basketball season to begin.
Now, speaking of women's basketball, the Cowgirls have a lot of expectations on them this season. Our own Ryan Rustin went around campus to ask students what they think of the Cowgirls for this upcoming season.
I'm Ryan Rustin, and I'm out here on campus asking students if they're excited for the upcoming season.
I'm here with
Taylor,
Brennan Petrone,
Emma,
London Lagana,
Mitchell Robinson,
Pierce Todd. And what are your predictions on the basketball season?
I think we're going 36-4.
I think Staley Hurd is going to pop off. We both went to Sapulpa High School, so I got to root for her. I could see us going to the the top 6, Sweet 16.
I think we're going to do really good this year. Last year looked good, so I have hope.
Who's your favorite player?
Staley Hurd.
All right, thank you.
I mean, we got a pretty solid schedule coming up, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Cowgirls come up to this. So I think we'll be pretty solid.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
I think we have a promising season coming up, coming off of last year and a couple years before. I think the real test is going to be what we can do in the playoffs when we hopefully get there. Expectations are to do better than last year and to continue forward. I think players-wise, Jaden Wooten will really go off this year, coming off a good freshman year season, going into her sophomore year.
I think our team really has the potential. We're going in 21-22 to start the season. I would not be surprised if we crack top 15, top 10. So a lot of potential for this season. We just execute what we need to execute, and I'm excited.
Do you have a favorite player on the team?
I would say Jaden Wooten. I mean, she's going to be a dog this year. Coming off her freshman year, I'm excited to see what she's got.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Ryan. Some high hopes for the student body for what Cowgirl basketball can accomplish this season.
Now, Cowboy Golf competed in the Fighting Irish Classic at Notre Dame. The Pokes finished 10th place out of 16 teams. However, OSU was without 3 of their All-Americans as Ethan Fang, Preston Stout, and Philip Fallberg Johnson are all in Singapore competing at the World Amateur Team Championships. As for Cowgirl Golf, they also were in action Monday as they competed in the Prairie Dunes Invitational. On the back of Marta Selchenko's 4th place finish, the Cowgirls were able to place 5th overall in the tournament. Both teams now get the week off. The Cowgirls will return to action October 17th, and the men are off until the 27th. Hopefully Cowboy and Cowgirl Golf can gain some momentum.
And speaking of momentum, the reigning Big 12 champ Cowgirl equestrian team has a tall task versus number 4 ranked SMU. Our own Jack Jones has a preview on what to expect for this matchup.
The equestrian season is underway, with Cowgirl Equestrian hosting SMU in its home opener. With the disappointing season opener losing to the 7th-ranked TCU Horned Frogs, OSU heads home, where home field advantage is a little different. Being able to use your own horses Coach Larry Sanchez is confident in the atmosphere they've built at Pedigo Hull Equestrian Center.
We have a large crowd that comes out and supports our Cowgirls, and when those stands are full and the fans are cheering on our riders, they seem to step up in their riding a little bit more.
Riding for Oklahoma State is special. It comes with a standard. Winning 5 consecutive Big 12 championships, being a Cowgirl is earned, not given. The success in Stillwater has run deep, with many riders only knowing one thing: championships. Ask senior Jude Robertson, who's been a part of 3 straight conference championship teams.
It's comforting, but also adds pressure, obviously. I think coming in as a freshman, it's a pressure of expectation to uphold what the people before you have already kind of set in place.
The road to 6 consecutive Big 12 titles won't be easy, with the second-ranked Mustangs coming to town, who won back-to-back national championships in 2023 and 24. Coach Sanchez embraces the early challenge.
I've never been one to shy away from tough competition. Our goal always is to win the Big 12 championships and to win a national championship. And in order to do that, you've got to compete against the best.
The main event, 2 programs looking for a statement win. It's all going down at Pedigo Hull Equestrian Center. For the Poke Report, I'm Jack Jones.
Thanks for that, Jack.
Now, don't go anywhere because after this break, we have my favorite segment, the Pick'ems.
And we'll be joined by our Big 12 analyst, Connor Fuchsa. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back into the final segment of the Poke Report. It's our Pick'em segment. We are joined, of course, by Big 12 analyst Connor Fuchsa. Connor, I'm going to let you lead the charge for this one. Let us know what games we got coming up this week.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here, get to share some analysis this week. And we're going to start off in the SEC. We're going to start off with Bama versus Missouri. So, Peyton, what do you got in that game?
I'm going to go Bama, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Mizzou, too. I like what they've done this year, but I can't pick against Bama. They're too hot right now.
I'm going to start with an upset. I'm going Missouri in this game. I love what Bo Perbula's been doing for Missouri. They got one of the best running backs in the nation, and they currently have the best run defense in the nation. I think they make Bama one-dimensional, and they win this game.
You're stealing our fire a little bit there.
All right, what's next?
Next up, we do have another big game. It's a top 10 matchup, Indiana versus Oregon. Peyton, what do you got in that one?
Oh, my heart says Indiana, but I'm going to go Oregon.
Yeah. It's tough because I love Indiana. I do love what they're doing. But once again, if the pick that got me in week 1, if you can go in, beat Penn State in a whiteout game, I'll keep with the Oregon train.
Yeah, no, this one I toss and turn on which one to pick. They're 2 very even teams, but if it's going to be a 50-50, I'm going to go with the home team. So I'm going with Oregon in this one as well.
Absolutely.
Now, this next game, we're heading over to Big 12 action, and we've got BYU versus Arizona. Now, y'all were at the Arizona game last week. What do you think in this one?
I loved Arizona. I loved their team. I thought they were pretty solid on all cylinders, but I also went to BYU last year, and I loved that environment too. I'm going to say BYU on this one.
I think I got to go with an upset. I think the one thing that was holding Arizona back was Noah Fafita figuring it out. I love their defense, and I feel like while it was against a really rough OSU defense, I think any sort of confidence for a young quarterback like that can help. So I'll go Arizona, doing it back-to-back weeks, pulling the upset.
Yeah, no, I'm also going to go with you, Zach. I'm on Arizona. BYU is a good team, but I can't trust a team where their quarterback wears number 47. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Noah Fafita's a lot more experienced. He looked good last week. I think he'll look good this week.
Cool.
Now, this next game we got is another Arizona team. It's Arizona State traveling into Utah. What do you got, Peyton?
I got Arizona State. I don't really – this game could be a toss-up. I don't know. I didn't pick Arizona, so I feel like I got to pick a team in their state.
That's fair. I will disagree with you. I'm going Utah for sure. They had a little bit of a setback versus Texas Tech, but I think they've bounced back and they'll take care of business.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you, Peyton, on this one. I'm going Arizona State. I'm trusting Sam Levitt. I'm just trusting Jordan Tyson. And on top of that, they've had the harder schedule so far, having to face a lot of tough teams. I think they're more battle-tested.
Okay, last one.
Now, last one's our game. You got Oklahoma State versus Houston here in Stillwater. Peyton, are you going with the home team, or are you going to have to go with Houston?
You know, this game could go either way, I feel like. With all of the portal entries for Oklahoma State, the injuries for Houston and our team, I just think it could be pretty even, but I am going to go Houston.
Yeah.
I don't think our fan base is truly into our program anymore. It's kind of just fallen off, and I don't know, Houston.
Yeah. Listen, I think there's going to be great steps for OSU. I think they're going to incorporate how to use Sam Jackson more this week. It will be better. I know Wegman's questionable, but I still think he goes. I still think Houston takes care of business, but I think we're going to see proper steps for OSU, especially after last week.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Houston has looked a lot better this year with Wayman under center. I mean, I think as long as he plays in this game, it really shouldn't be much of a question. Houston's winning it. If he doesn't go, that's where things get interesting, but he is projected to play, and for that, I'm going to go with Houston as well.
Absolutely. Well, Connor, thank you so much for joining us for those picks. We're excited to see how they pan out. But for now, that's all we got. Thank you so much for tuning in. For the Poke Report, I'm Zach Berger.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt.
We'll see you next week.
Go Pokes.